If you want to go on the greatest rides based on the biggest movies, there's only one place you can. You've got to go to Orlando and go to Universal Studios Florida, the #1 movie studio and theme park in the world. Universal Studios Florida, the only place on earth where you can ride the movies.
So you want to ride the movies at Universal Studio theme parks. But is the real movie magic in Hollywood or Orlando? The answer may surprise you. Let's start in Orlando. Here there are 2 parks that connect to each another, and frankly, only doing one of them will leave you feeling like you missed out on something. So I recommend doing both. There is a 3rd water park, but let's keep this to the movies. Universal Studios Florida has lost a bit of its luster since the park first opened in the 1990s. However, it still has enough to enthrall audiences and pack in thousands of guests on a daily basis. First, let's start with the highlights. Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts. This ride combines a number of different technologies and is a whirlwind of Harry Potter adventures. It's a can't miss for fans of the boy wizard, and this whole ride is set in the whimsical land of Diagon Alley, where there's shops, restaurants, and wizarding challenges for those who pay $40 for a wand. Then there's the Hogwarts Express, which takes you from Universal Studios to Islands of Adventure. But keep in mind, you'll have to have a 2-park pass to do this. The E.T. Adventure, I love that this classic ride, which opened with the park, is still going. It's a classic, fun, and is a total throwback to the age when you didn't have YouTube or any other social media to spoil what rides were really like. It's simple, but awesome, and while a bit goofy, captures the heart of the family movie. I may be in the minority here, but I truly miss the Jaws ride and the original King Kong ride. They were charming and similar to what you see in the movie theater today. They're offering up more scares with man-made thrills than computer-generated ones. Then there's the Transformers 3D ride. While I don't love the Michael Bay versions of the Transformers, give me the 80s cartoons any day. This ride it's still fun and manages to give you a little bit of everything. Then the Simpsons Krusty Land is another highlight, featuring a spirited, if not nausea-inducing roller coaster ride through Springfield and all of its characters. The land itself is a must for Simpsons fans. The ride feels more like a 3rd-rate episode from season 10. After that, the studio portion gets a bit iffy. Fast and the Furious really doesn't interest me. Men in Black seems like it needs to go. I love Despicable Me, but this Minions ride, woof. There may be some redemption for this franchise though. The new Villain Con Minion Blast is just starting to open, and hopefully that's a good one. And don't get me started on the inclusion of the Jimmy Fallon ride. What a waste. And here's the thing. If it was just that, I may have to give the advantage to Hollywood Studios. They have the new Super Nintendo Land. This really is a sight to behold. You literally feel like you've stepped into an 80s video game. The Mario Kart ride is fun enough and interactive like many of these rides are becoming, likely catering to the growing video game crowd. However, there really is just the one ride. Otherwise, similar to Harry Potter, kids need to buy a $40 wristband to go around collecting coins, keys, and other items to get into Bowser's castle. In theory, this seems like a great idea. But wow, try to have fun when this small area is busting with people. Kids wait in lines to do a challenge, but that lasts around 30 seconds. Far less than the 35 to 55 minute wait at each station. And if you have an Express Pass or an Express Pass Unlimited, it still doesn't apply to get into the Mario Kart ride for a second time. When we went, we paid the extra $25 just to get in early, and even then, we had to wait an hour long for the Mario Kart ride. This whole thing was fun in someone's mind, but in practice, it's really expensive, aggravating, and asks far too much patience for children. My recommendation, they need another ride in this area to make the trip to Universal Studios Hollywood Super Nintendo Land really worth it. Universal Studios Hollywood also seems far less stressful than Orlando, though perhaps that's because we had gotten the Express Pass this time around. Still, there was actually room to move around in Harry Potter Hogsmeade, and a chance to jump on a few rides without much of a wait. Hollywood also has the Mosasaurus on the Jurassic World ride, and a brief appearance by the Indominus Rex. The Hollywood version also feels a bit longer than the Orlando version. It's kind of a wash between the two in my opinion, with a slight edge to the Hollywood Jurassic ride. While Hollywood does not feature the Harry Potter Gringotts ride, it does have the Forbidden Journey ride. I feel this one may be the best ride Universal has to offer. It's fast, thrilling, and combines set pieces and 3D in perfect harmony. Hollywood Studio Tour is another highlight. It still features the Bates Motel and a guest appearance by a real-life Norman Bates, a quick old-school Jaws, and a War of the Worlds plane crash set you have to see to believe. However, the simulation rides of King Kong and Fast and the Furious are mediocre at best. And while overall it's interesting to tour the empty sets, all of this feels a bit tired. Hollywood also features Krusty Land, The Mummy, and Transformers, just like Orlando. And if it was just these parks head to head, I may give the nod to Hollywood. However, because of that second park, Islands of Adventure, it's really not that close. The second Orlando park features more Harry Potter, Spider-Man, Dr. Seuss, Jurassic Park, and King Kong rides. The roller coasters don't do much for me. They're cool, but definitely something you could find at Six Flags. I really think these parks should just focus on movie rides and leave the amusement park elements to someone else. So I would go to Universal Studios Orlando all the way. You're missing out on the studio tour, a slightly different Jurassic ride, and Super Nintendo Land. However, the studio tour is stale, Jurassic is a wash, and Super Nintendo Land needs to take a hard look at the visitor enjoyment factor. Of course, all of this is going to change in 2 years anyway, when Universal Florida opens up its third park, Epic Universe, featuring How to Train Your Dragon Land, Universal Monsters Land, and much, much more. As always, like and subscribe. You've been watching Toys We Remember. Please come back soon.